wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little bit. Patty cake.
Hello, Kieran again. We're back with another review. This time I'm talking about Sausage Party, which is a movie I saw yesterday, and I was maybe going to do a review last night, but then I thought, no, this is one I need to think about a little bit. So I've kind of put together some of my thoughts and thought about it a bit, and I think it's a pretty good movie. Is it the best movie? Is it the most funny movie I've seen this year? No, it's definitely not. And also, I'm seeing a lot of like 4 out of 5 and 9 out of 10s online, and I don't think it's worth that. I think it's a really funny movie. Like I said, it's really cool. It's really original. They totally do something completely fresh that was really fun to see. But is it that good? No, it's not that good. I would say it's around about a 3 out of 5 or something like that. And I'll hopefully explain why I feel like that. But don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it. And I'm going to talk a lot about the film, a few of the things I loved, a few of the things I hated, some things that I'm in the middle about, and you can just form your own opinion, and I hope it's useful. And yeah, let's just get straight into it and just get talking about what I thought about Sausage Party. So, what's the plot of Sausage Party? I think if you're gonna go see this movie, you probably already know, and I don't think there's many people who are gonna go see this movie after reading reviews and stuff like that and watching this video. I think this is the sort of film that if you're gonna go see, you're gonna go see. And if you're not gonna go see it, then I don't think people are gonna change your mind, because you either like stuff, this kind of jokes, this kind of comedy, or you don't, and that's okay. But basically, the plot, if I can explain it without sounding ridiculous, is there's these it's set in this supermarket, Shopwells, and it's kind of like Toy Story, and where toys come alive when we're not looking. Food and a lot of different things are always alive in supermarkets, and all this food in our supermarkets lives under the impression that they are going to be taken one day from the shelves by the gods, who are us, and taken to the great beyond, which is basically just out of the store, and to which they believe is like a heaven. It's like a paradise. So and basically our main characters are, I think his name is Frank. Yeah, it's Frank because he's a Frankfurt, and he's played by Seth Rogen, and he's got 2 friends played by Jonah Hill and Michael Cera. And there's Kirsten Wiig, who's a bun, and she's got some other friends in her little bun packet, and they sit next to each other on the shelf. And essentially the story is they both get chosen at the same time, but things go wrong, and without spoiling it, because I don't want to give anything away, they basically end up going on a little mission, a little adventure, where they meet certain characters, and they discover that the great beyond isn't all that it's cracked up to be, and that we don't just take them to paradise, we don't do anything like that, we eat them and we kill them. And that's basically the story, and I don't want to give anything else away, because I think it's a film that's best left quite fresh, so I'll just leave it at that. Some of the funniest bits of this film come from not just jokes, not just funny things that the characters say, but actually the horror that is inflicted and the violence that's inflicted upon some of these characters that we meet in all these different kind of food and all these vegetables and fruit and everything. That some of the funniest bits in the movie come from the horrible deaths of your characters, and I think that's probably something that people are expecting, and it's just hilarious. And I think it's one of the things that makes it stand out the most, you know, because obviously they can go to a level, they go to like Saw levels in how brutal and how cruel they are sometimes, and it's just brilliant. It's just hilarious, because people are evil, people are twisted, and that sort of thing is just really funny. So that's definitely one of the things that I really enjoyed, and that's the funniest bits. I mean, you see little snippets of that in the trailer, like this sort of Saving Private Ryan sort of moment where there's flour everywhere, and there's an Oreo wandering around and his head's blowing off, and the jam is open and bits coming out, and his peanut butter's her husband, and he's like clawing at her insides, the jam, and it's just weird, but it's also so funny, and it's, like I said, it's just, there's so much room for new funny, silly jokes and silly ideas, and you can do so much in a supermarket. And I mean, respect to them, because you think when you first hear this idea, oh, this is gonna go old really quickly. Sausages, buns, penises, vaginas. That's what you think when you go in the movie. You're like, okay, that's gonna be funny, but it's gonna run out of steam, and it doesn't actually. It just keeps giving, and they keep going with it, and it blows up. It's so much bigger, this thing, than I thought it was when I went in. So yeah, now I'm speaking about it, I'm actually remembering why I enjoyed the movie. It's kind of going up in approval now, but yeah, it's definitely original. It's like I say, I keep saying it's original, but it is, and that's the main thing about it. Like, I don't really know what else to say apart from that. It's just a really original, funny movie that you should go see. You should definitely go see. Now, whoever came up with the idea for this film, this whole food and products being alive, they obviously realized when they started writing the script that they'd actually struck such a gold mine for ideas, because more as the movie goes on and on, they keep coming out with more and more sort of ridiculous situations where you think, what if that thing I bought at the store and used for whatever was alive? And the amount of kind of jokes that they can mine from that, and it's basically endless. So I can definitely see them doing more sequels for this, because the idea just creates so much more jokes, and some of them don't always hit, but generally they do, and it's a really brilliant, fresh idea. So I think that was one of the real strengths of the film, just being able to see this sort of idea if food was alive. And it's not just food in the film, as we find out. There's no really strict rules to what's alive and what's not. We find things that inanimate objects, which you're thinking, well, if that's alive, why isn't this alive? And we find other things like toilet roll and condoms. They're alive, and obviously they're used for jokes and everything. So it works really well. So I did find myself laughing, and sometimes ashamedly laughing at some of the jokes, but it was definitely funny, and they definitely use this sort of concept to its fullest. And I think they've definitely got more room to go and room to grow this idea if they do go further, and there definitely are, in my opinion, as I'm going to talk about. There's definitely room for a sequel in this film. Something that this movie does actually do, aside from just being a funny movie, is it does actually have quite a serious, in a way, quite a serious message as well. And I was very caught off guard with this. I wasn't expecting it at all. I don't think anyone was. It's not implied in the trailers or anything, but it does make sense when you watch the movie, and maybe you worked out from a little bit about my plot summary before. It's very strongly anti-religion, this movie, and I think that's going to catch some people off guard, and I'm worried that will maybe put some people off. I hope it doesn't, because in the end, it's just a movie, and that stuff, like, whatever. If you disagree, you disagree, but it shouldn't make you not enjoy the film. So I went in, I was a bit surprised. I thought it was a little on the nose sometimes. I thought, this is maybe going to offend some people, but in the end, whatever. If it does, it does, and you should get thicker skin. But I feel like it's something that you should maybe talk about, because like I say, it did surprise me. I wasn't expecting it, and it does make sense. It's not kind of out of the blue. It does make sense when you consider the story and the world that they've created, that they'd be having this kind of discussion about, is it worth believing in a god? Is it worth allowing a religion to dictate how you live your life? And isn't it better to just live how we want to live while we can, because we only have one life, and we need to treasure it. We need to enjoy it. And that sounds quite heavy, but in all honesty, that is the crux of the narrative of Sausage Party, and they don't reveal any of that in the trailer. It completely catches you off guard, but that is the main point of this movie. They're basically saying, we don't think you should bother believing in God or following religion, and this is why. And some people probably aren't going to be able to get over that or see past it, which is a shame. And some people might not even notice it, some people might not care. But I think because it's quite a big issue and all that sort of stuff, I think it's worth mentioning because I don't want it to put people off, but I also think it's maybe good to warn people. So yeah, just wanted to mention it and let you guys make your own opinion of that. But on the end, in my opinion, it doesn't make it a worse movie, it doesn't make it a better movie. It's just what the film is. But I just wanted to bring it up just to say, in terms of animation, the film is no Pixar, but I think everyone was expecting that. And I know that basically nobody gives a shit about the animation in a movie like this. It's you go for the comedy, you go for the actors, you go for that kind of jokes, this kind of raunchy humor, which is totally fine. But I feel since I'm reviewing it, I should say that the animation is serviceable, but it's nothing amazing. But there's no like issues. There's no bits which are really glaringly bad or anything. It does the plot well enough, and it has its own style. And this slightly less slick and professional sort of animation style may actually probably was intentional actually, because it does give the film its kind of unique identity, and it does fit. The style fits a lot with the film. This sort of kind of cutesy animation style they've got a lot of the time is a really nice, funny contrast to some of the horrible things that are done to these poor characters. So I think it works really well, and that's probably what they were going for. But in terms of animation, I should also mention that I think maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't, but there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the treatment of the animators on this film. And I think it was the director of Sausage Party who's the main culprit. And I don't know how much this has been resolved. I think they're getting steps towards the animators being paid. But basically, the director apparently was quite forceful and took advantage of the animators quite a lot, and they weren't paid what they should. And I think that's for that reason, some people are boycotting the film. So to those people, I say that's fine. I think it's totally just reason to do so, and you're not missing out hugely if you do. And it's definitely wrong how the animators were treated. But so basically, I just wanted to bring that up because if it's something you want to look into before you see the film, then definitely do so, and then you can make your decision on if you want to see it afterwards. But basically, I wanted to let you guys know that that is also going on, and I don't know how it's been resolved or anything. Like I say, I haven't really looked into it, but I know it's ongoing. So I wanted to bring it up. I probably should have done some reading on it beforehand, but unfortunately I didn't, so I'm really sorry. But if you're passionate about that sort of thing, then I would recommend you look into it. Because so, should you go see this movie? Well, I think yes, you should, especially if you like kind of original, quirky comedies. This is definitely something that's going to be up your street. If you like kind of really crude, raunchy jokes and all this sort of stuff, then it's something you should check out as well. And also just because it's so original and it's such a breath of fresh air. So there's lots of reasons to check this movie out if you want to laugh. So I would say, in the end, you should definitely go see it. Should you expect the funniest film you're going to see this year? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to really be remembered as that, as a classic. Maybe because it's so different, maybe because it stands out so much, but the comedy itself it's not the best. It does its job, and it's entertaining, and I definitely don't want my money back, but am I going to go ever see that movie again? I don't think so. Maybe at a friend's house one night when we're really bored, but it's the sort of film that you're only going to really want to watch once, and you're probably not going to find it funny again. So that's all I can really talk about for Sausage Party. There's not really much to say. I don't want to spoil a lot of the plot because I was actually quite caught off guard by a lot of the story. I didn't expect a lot of the elements that the film brought in. So I don't really want to spoil that for you guys because I think you should go into this film pretty fresh. I'd only seen one trailer, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I think you guys should do the same. So you should just go see the movie. Don't read any. Well, I watched this review. I read a few reviews, but don't read into any kind of spoiler reviews or anything like that. Just kind of keep it quite light in what you find out before and go in, and you will have a good time. But it probably isn't going to go down as one of your favorite comedy movies, that's for sure. And that's all I can really say about Sausage Party. So I hope this was useful for you guys that are considering going. I don't know if it's going to, like I say, change any of you guys' minds if you're not going to go, but who knows. But I hope you learned a little bit in the review and you're now a bit more informed and equipped to go see it. If you enjoy it and if you hated it, just feel free to comment, let me know. I'd love to hear you guys, your guys' thoughts. In the future, just keep an eye on the channel because I've got a few things that I'm going to line up and do. I'm not doing any film reviews in the immediate future. That might change by tomorrow. I've maybe completely forgotten about a film, but I've not got one lined up. And in the meantime, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, but it takes a little bit more preparation than the stuff I'm doing with the reviews. Because with these, this is me just rambling for 10 minutes and hoping that you find something useful to go see the film with. But these actually, I'm writing down what I'm going to be saying. It's a bit more organized and it's going to take more time to edit. So keep an eye on the channel when those sort of things come up. I need to do another episode of Bay 94. I mean, it's hard to, that's just one person, it's hard to keep up with all the sort of news. There's so much that happens, but I'm probably going to compile it all and then just give my thoughts on everything. I should probably do one of them maybe tomorrow or the next day. I'll get one of those out. And after that, we'll just see. So yeah, just keep an eye on YouTube, and there'll definitely be something soon. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you get something out of it. And if not, then I'm sure there'll be something for you next time. So yeah, if you go see Sausage Party, I really hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next time.